What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Brock. And today, we're just going to kind of do a quick overview of the Filsinger Games game system for any new people that may have stumbled upon the game through various other platforms that may have questions.
Yeah, we got the idea because Brock was doing a stream on his Twitch channel,
Hmm.
and a raid came in, and we were trying to explain the game, and so were other people. But there was like 30 people that showed up in this raid. Everybody's asking questions. We had no place to direct them,
Right, right.
and some of the people were interested in the game.
They were into it. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't sure how it was going to go because at one point I had like 102 people on my stream when I was
Yeah,
playing Champions of the Galaxy, which it doesn't sound like a lot of people, but when you're used to 15, 20 tops, it's a little overwhelming. And then they were, like you said, they seemed interested. They were asking a lot of questions, things like that. So we thought, it's fresh off of that. It was just yesterday, recording wise, that we might as well just, quickly do a little overview of basic rules and basically the concept of the game and how you play. Um, there is a pretty good how-to section on the Filsinger Games website, which I will link below. And part of that, it has a Bishop Hell game card, which has both his card art. Actually, I could just show that. Here it is. It has both his card art and the back of his card. So we can refer to this. This is from the official Filsinger Games website. There's a how-to section, so we'll link to that below if you all want to follow along with us. Try
yes.
not to ramble.
No. Overall, the game's pretty simple. You just need two six-sided dice.
Yes, and a set of game charts,
Yep.
which you can also download from the website, which I will leave a link to that below as well. I think there's actually a link to the charts on the same page that has this card. It's on a different part of the site, but it's right there. So I'll link to both. You can get all the resources you need to start playing, and the rules are right here as well. So I think one thing that I like to point out to people um, who are new to the game who are interested, I like to point out that it's not a competitive game, that it's more of a simulation game where it's not like, oh, I can beat you with this guy. It's more of let's put these two guys together and see who would win
Yeah.
instead of it being a competitive kind of thing.
And because it's a dice game, the variants happen,
Hmm.
upsets happen.
I felt bad for a lot of people if this is the first exposure they had to the game was me playing last night on my stream. I had some of the absolute worst quality matches I have ever rolled in my life.
Yeah, I saw a series of double one finishes.
There were out of 10 matches I had on the card that I played, the fight card I played on stream, three ended in a roll of snake eyes within the first minute of the game.
Yeah.
I had a triple threat cage match for my women's championship. Two moves were rolled into the turnbuckle. Snake eyes, pin.
Yeah. It can happen. It's the that's the problem with a dice variance game, but it also
Hmm.
makes it interesting
Right.
because it allows for the upset.
Hmm. See, I kind of worked myself into a little bit of a problem because booked this match, and then I was like, well, let's do the feud table because it wasn't really a feud situation, but let's spice it up with because there's a new audience here. Like, let's do the feud table. Maybe something fun will happen. And then because it was in a cage, the thing that we rolled made no sense. Like a bunch of people like interfered. I'm like, well, they're inside a cage. So it's funny because one of the random people were like, well, we need to know, does this cage have a lid on it? Can anybody get in? So I just said nonchalantly, nah, yeah, there's a lid on the cage. Nobody can get in. And then that
Yeah.
came back to haunt me a mere 45 seconds later. So it's funny because it's a shoot. Like,
Yeah.
and as much as you want one guy, or you think one character is going to win, or you favor one character to win, because you can make dumb choices to favor one character over the other. I try and play it down the middle, but I know that it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't always go the way you plan for or expect. So just want to throw that out there. It's a
So,
shoot.
yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen, which makes it so much fun.
So how this game works is you'll have two characters. Now we're just showing Bishop Hill right now,
Hmm.
but there's hundreds of other characters from the GWF universe.
Which
And
is a futuristic science fiction wrestling game
yeah,
set about 100 years in the future.
yes. And every few years, this one says 2125. When the
Hmm.
game first appears, I think the very first set is 2074, and then it skips to like 2080 something.
2087 was the original starter set. So there's over 50 years of game years,
Yeah.
and it comes out every July. There's a new year. So it's a little overwhelming if you want to start from the beginning and play through it all. You
Yeah.
could, because there's online resources and stuff like that where you can simulate matches and things like that. But the Champions of the Galaxy universe was the first and has the most rich story and things like that and lore. But it doesn't stop there. It was funny just introducing this to anybody who might be new. One of the people came in to my stream. My event was called Shamrock Showdown. And they said after it was all said and done, I can't believe you had an event named Shamrock Showdown and Ken Shamrock wasn't there. It's like funny you should mention that because Ken Shamrock does have a card in this game as part of the Legends of Wrestling line.
Yep.
So, and you can mix and match if you'd like.
That is true. But how we would play this game is I would have a card and say Brock would have a card
Hmm.
and Brock can have Bishop Hell there and he would roll two six-sided dice. I would roll two six-sided dice and whoever wins initiative, their wrestler starts on level one offense.
Can you see my mouse? I'm
Yep.
not sure. Okay, cool. It's capturing my mouse then. I wasn't sure if it would or not.
Yep. So you would roll there.
And you can see there are 6 options. So you just roll one six-sided die, and that'll give you your move that you do. To say you roll a 3, you would get the eye rake 2. So you have the move name, and then the number after the move name is the level of defense in which the opponent would roll on. So you see the number 2, say Bishop Hell was fighting himself. You would jump over to the level 2 defense and roll a d6. And then you would see that result, and that's how you play through. So it's kind of like an action reaction kind of thing.
Yep.
So the wrestler on offense does a move, and then the wrestler on defense reacts, and then that just gets you through the match.
And if you happen to roll a name, so if he would have rolled, say, a 6,
Hmm.
Bishop Hell 1, it means Bishop Hell takes over on level 1 offense. He reverses the move.
Yes, so that's a counter. So if it's their name, they counter the move, and then they take over on the level of offense that follows their name. So if he rolled a 6 here on level 2 defense, Bishop Hell 1, Bishop Hell takes over and then rolls on level 1 offense.
So it's pretty easy to follow that way.
Hmm.
But then you'll see uh, the power and agility moves.
Yes.
So if you look below, it says agility power down there.
Hmm.
If you do a move and you have better power, that move no longer works. The opponent reverses it.
And what's tricky in this game, which I kind of was confused by at first, it's the lowered number that's the better number
Yep.
because you have to, on a certain choice chart, it's called the choice situation chart, You have to roll below the agility or power rating based on the number on the chart. So
Yeah.
we're probably making this way more confusing than it needs to be.
So an opposing wrestler could be stronger or faster, and if it's the same, the wrestler who originally on offense stays on offense.
Hmm.
So if Bishop Hell was fighting, Massive, who's a -4 power, that power move wouldn't work.
Right, because the lower number is better. So
Yeah.
then the wrestler with the lower number has the better rating. They take over on level 2 offense.
But, but if he was fighting Pete Beck's favorite wrestler, Death Knight,
Hmm.
who's got pluses on both his agility and power, so he's a horrible wrestler,
Poor Pete Beck.
then Bishop Hell would take over,
Yes,
no
on
matter
level
what
2
his role.
offense.
Yeah, he would continue. He would continue. He would ignore those moves. And then when we cycle down to the level 2 offense area, you'll see some choices. Choice B and choice C. Now, instead of doing that maneuver, Mouth Ripper or Camel Clutch, you would go onto the choice chart, which you would see, and the choice B is a turnbuckle maneuver, which you can throw someone in the turnbuckle, or it's an agility maneuver.
Where you'd have to roll less than the number listed on the chart, plus or minus
Yeah.
the opponent's agility rating.
And then C is also it's an agility or power, but agility would work better for him, or it becomes a power move on a as well. So with C, it could work. I think it's an 8 or better. I don't have the charts in front of me. I'm just going off memory.
Hmm. I can actually read choice C here. So here's the choice chart. You have two columns, so you have two choices. So that's why it's called the choice chart, choice situations. So choice C can do either a moonsault 3, which would be a level 3 move, works on rules of 7 or lower, plus or minus the agility, the opponent's agility rating. So his agility rating is 0, so you'd have to roll a 7 or less. Or a kick to knee 2, so it's a less powerful move, works on a roll of 7 or lower, plus or minus the opponent's power rating. His power rating is -1, so you'd have to therefore roll a 6 or less. So it's a more difficult move to execute. So you would have to choose between the two based on your actual wrestler's stats, or your opponent's stats, basically, not your own.
And so say if Bishop Hell was fighting Lightning. So Lightning has a -4 agility. He might not want to do that agility maneuver, even
Right.
though it would put him down. But he could do the since Lightning has a +4 power,
Hmm.
he could do that with an 11 or better. So he fails on a 12.
Yes.
Could
Whereas the agility
quickly
move,
take
he would have
over.
to roll a 3 or less, which is pretty tough to do.
Yeah.
So that's where the strategy comes into play a little bit. Um, and sometimes you just want to go for it all. Like if your character's getting beat down and you have a chance to, if I roll low, I can turn it around. Sometimes people do that, sometimes they don't. But that's where the agility and power rating come into play. So that's why the lower number is better because it makes it harder for the opponent to roll those less than rolls.
Yeah. And then when we drop down to level 3 offense, you'll see some
Mhm.
things called one's a death jump. Death jump means you're climbing the top of the turnbuckle and flying off. Now he's got a choice there, which means you don't have to do it. If you don't do it, then you would roll up to level 2 offense.
So you can choose to roll up one level of offense.
Yeah. To say your opponent's an A, death jump, you'll see where it says ropes B, turnbuckle B, ring A, death jump B. Well, those are your skill jodies and their skill abilities, and they're ranked A through C,
Hmm.
A being the best. So if Bishop Hell was fighting Bishop Hell, A B, you'd probably go for it.
It's like a 50-50 shot of succeeding.
Yeah. But if he was an A and it was a close battle, you might roll up. If you're
Yeah,
losing, you might go, I'm going to take the chance.
right. But if there's no choice, if there's no C in parentheses following it, you have to roll on the chart.
Yeah.
And there are four situational charts that you have an ABC rating, A being the best, C being the worst, where your opponent rolls on that chart and does what the result says. And then
And
you
so
can
the out
find
of the
their
ring,
ratings here.
yep, out of the ring, you fire them out of the ring.
They can be counted out, disqualified, things like that.
Wild brawls.
Wild brawls, foreign objects, stairs,
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. All the out of the ring chart's the most fun. It has the most variety of things that can happen. You can get disqualified. The opponent can get disqualified. You can turn it around. You can get counted out. A lot can happen on the out of the ring chart.
Yes. And then if we
So,
continue, I say if we continue down on that level 3 offense, you'll see something written in all capitals.
mhm.
Hellfire. That's his finishing maneuver.
So that triggers an automatic pin attempt.
Yes.
Plus, since we're just explaining advanced rolls, you would add this number, this +5, to the pin rating, which you find over here. So since we're using advanced rules, you refer to the number in parentheses, and then you add 5 to that, so you're up to 6. So you have to beat a 6 with a 7 or better, otherwise the match is over.
Now, there is basic rules, and I've yet to ever meet a person who uses them. But in the basic rule, your pin never moves up.
Right.
So on the advanced rules, the pin, if you kick out, goes to a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4. It keeps slowly climbing.
You get a fatigue token every time you take a pin
Yes.
attempt, which makes it easier for you to be pinned as the match continues.
But on the basic, your pin stays the same at all times. It never moves.
So it'd always be a 4. I've never played with the basic rules.
Yeah, as I said, I've never met a person who has. I'm sure there's someone out there.
Yeah. And let's see, what else are we on level 3 defense? If you roll it down, followed by the letters LV, that means you can leave the ring, which means you just roll on the out of the ring chart.
Yeah. You've
So,
had enough. You're going to go out of the ring. And the same thing can happen because you're rolling on the out of the ring chart.
right. So the match spills outside. Same options.
And when you do a go out of the ring, you'll see something at the bottom called disqualification. He's got a disqualification 5. So you'd have to roll that number to not be disqualified if
Hmm.
you do it, one of those dastardly maneuvers, or in Bishop Hell's case, his
His finisher.
finisher.
Yep.
Now, some people's finishers are basic, where they're just a simple maneuver. Others have additional triggers that happen when the finishing maneuver happens. So Bishop Hell throws a fireball of some form at you.
And that's all usually explained on the card itself.
Yep.
So his, for example, roll 2 dice. Hellfire works when the rolls are when on rolls of 2 through 7. On rolls of 8 through 12, roll again on level 3 offense. When Hellfire works and opponent kicks out, add 2 fatigue tokens to the opponent's pin rating. So this adds double fatigue because it's a dangerous, he shoots a fireball at you.
And then if you go into Bishop Hell's card, sometimes in this game you can have tag matches.
Hmm.
And if you're having a tag match, if you happen to roll the tag and you roll 2 6-sided dice, 2 through 6 means you get to tag and your opponent comes in.
Your partner comes in on level 1 offense.
Yep.
There's variables in that too, depending on if they're a full-time tag team, part-time tag team, or just 2 guys you threw together. It's 6 if they're a full-time tag team. I think 5 if they're on the same team,
Yep. If
4
they're
if they're
really stable.
friendly. Yeah. And then if they're not allies at all, they just can't tag out on defense. I always give them a chance though.
Yeah, I always give them 2 to 3.
There's a lot of house rules in this game too, because you're overseeing the operations of your Fed. So if you want a Fed that tag matches are featured and you want the tags going in and out, make everybody go out on a 6 or less.
Yeah. Our friend Jeff, who's normally here with us, is not a fan of tag matches.
He's not.
He'll have maybe one every couple cards.
Jeff.
So he has and other people love I love tag matches. But and with the game you can do multiple things. You can have single matches, tag matches, 6-man tag matches. You can have 8-man tag matches.
Hmm.
There's literally no end to what you can do with the game.
And then there's books like this, The Ringside Companion, that has dozens of specialty matches.
Yeah.
You
You'll see
name it,
something,
there's a good chance that it's if it's been done in wrestling, it can be done in this game.
yeah, and you'll see something called a cage rating. So
Hmm.
certain matches, your pin can change due to the cage.
Right. So the tougher guys have lower cage ratings. It basically replaces your pin rating.
Yeah. So some guys are horrible at cages. That they don't like the violent matches, so their pins go up.
Hmm.
Others, thrive in that environment, so their pins actually get better. Some
Hmm.
people stay the same.
Yep.
It happens.
And
But
like we said at the beginning, there are hundreds of characters to choose from. Whether you want sci-fi fantasy stuff like Bishop Hell here, or if you want to play wrestling's rich history and our in the Legends of Wrestling line, there's also an independent wrestling line where it has indie stars of today as well.
yeah, so if we go to Legends of Wrestling, even that's kind of broken down. We've teamed up with the game is teamed up with the Thez Tragos Hall of Fame. So there's always a Hall of Fame set that comes out once a year.
Hmm.
And then there's the uh, old style legends that are in black and white cards.
Yep.
The what's it? C, C I'm trying to
Cauliflower
remember.
Alley.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah,
thinking
the
of?
Cauliflower Alley guys, but you'll have think guys like Lou Thez in it, and uh, I'm drawing a blank because I don't play Legends as often.
Well, let's just for the heck of it,
Let
here's a
yeah,
list of all the real life wrestlers that are in the game between the Legends and indie lines. So these are all real wrestlers that have game cards. I'm not gonna, you can go to the website that I have linked below, but I'm still in B. So there are hundreds and hundreds of wrestler cards. And I don't even know if this list is up to date. And it tells you what set each of these cards can be purchased in. So just to give you an idea of how vast the roster is for this game. And this doesn't even include the fantasy characters and the Champions of the Galaxy characters. This is all just real life wrestlers that have cards.
yeah,
So if you want to dive headfirst into this, you'll never run out of matchups.
no. And there's also women wrestlers,
Hmm.
and there's legend women wrestlers. So it's if you if you think about it, it can be done. People have intergender matches. Not me, but people can have intergender matches
Hmm.
if you really want to, or you can have an all women's fed.
Yep.
And then when you get to the indies, there are people who have the independent wrestlers, guys who That's where the GW the Legends team have managed to sign guys like Daniel Bryanson and Samoa Joe when they were still on the Indies.
Hmm.
All got signed. Samoa Joe's in the game, isn't he?
No, he's not yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, ignore
But
Samoa Joe.
Brian Danielson is.
Yeah, yeah. Brian Danielson is.
Seth Rollins as Tyler Black is in the game.
Yeah,
John Moxley's in the game. Um, yeah, so this list, I mean, and it grows every day. Like the team that the Legends team and the Indies team, they are out there signing guys to this game right and left. It's I think we have more guys than we don't have, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
just wanted to share that list just to show you, show the people. If you want to
I
get into
always
this
get
game,
confused because I think we've signed guys. So I'm like, oh, we got that guy. Oh, we don't.
yeah, because there's so many you can't even keep track. And I'm sure there's some that they haven't shared with anybody yet as well. We don't work for Filsinger Games. We're just friendly with them. So
Yes.
we don't have any inside information. But yeah, if you guys stumbled upon my Twitch stream randomly and have more questions, we'll point you to this video and it'll point you to the places to look for information and to just get into it, have fun. Like Mike and I met nearly, what, 30 years ago?
Close
Pretty
to it.
close. Yeah, coming up on 30 years. Um, Still play this game really religiously. So,
And one of the ideas for this, because Jeff sent me, people were talking about it on Discord as well.
mhm.
A guy named Canadian Mike. So a little shout out to Canadian Mike there. Not
Not
me, even though
not
I'm
this Canadian Mike.
not this Canadian Mike, a different Canadian Mike. Was wondering and talking about bootlegs. So you can also make your own characters, and many people do.
Hmm.
I've made a lot. Brock's wearing a new dimension, his NDC, and that's his wrestling promotion that he promotes on his channel.
Hmm.
And it's nothing but independent guys that he's
Right.
made, or other people have made, and he'll use them.
Hmm. So yeah, there's really the possibilities are endless. And what's cool about Filsinger Games is they don't get upset when people make bootleg stuff. They actually encourage it,
Yep.
which is pretty cool. So shout out to them for that.
They've actually had contests,
Hmm.
who can make the coolest bootleg, and then they'll put those characters into the game.
Hmm. Yep. You and I have both won a creator character contest in the past.
Yep.
Check out the FTR game line if you're interested in that stuff.
Yeah. Brock made a an Animan, which is an alien,
Hmm.
a half animal human hybrid.
Yep.
His
It's a
name.
pig named Mayhem.
Yep. And I made a handicapped wrestler who is deaf. I got the idea from an actual deaf wrestler named Silent Brian Mackney, who wrestled in Canada and parts of the US a lot. So I'd see him.
Right on.
So you can literally do whatever you want with the game. There's so many. You can create your own storylines. You can go off. You become the booker, promoter. You're
Owner.
you're everything all wrapped into one.
Hmm.
And so if you want to use, and there are some people like I know use all the characters in one big massive fed. It happens, but a lot of guys will just break their feds up. Like
Hmm.
I have 5 different feds.
Yeah.
I because I don't like my legends messing with my COTG and vice versa.
Right, right. But whatever you like to do, it's up to you, promoter, is the tagline of the game, and it really truly is.
That is true. And it there's a convention for it every year.
Hmm. Called Galacticon. Usually in early July. This year it's going to be in late June. Forget the actual date right now, but
Yeah, I think it's in March, April, May, June. I think
It's on the website somewhere, I think.
yeah, I think it's on the 28th.
Okay,
28th, 29th, 30th
cool.
in Jamestown, New York.
Going back to the original place. It
The
was on the
best part.
road for several years. Yeah, I like going to Jamestown. It's not far from me. So
Well,
yeah, I hope to make it there this year, even if it's just for one day. But
it'll be lots of fun.
yep, hopefully that covers it. Please, if you guys have questions, ask them in the comments. Somebody from either one of us or somebody in the community will gladly answer your questions. The main point of this weekly show is to get more people into the game that we love so much. So if this helps people point people in the right direction to get started themselves, that's the goal. And if you're one of our regulars and we did something wrong, tell us that we did that too. Because if I know anything, it's I'm not good at explaining things.
And I know there are some people out there who watch us every week, like Pete Beck and Kevin Butcher. They'll tell us when we screwed it up and or if we missed something obvious.
Yeah, which we do
Yeah,
often.
we just we actually had something planned for today, but with what happened last night with Brock's stream, we are like, hey, we gotta put this in.
Hmm.
We should make it while it's still fresh in our minds.
Yes, yes. And we were telling people last night too, we were pointing them toward this channel. So if you're coming to this video from that Twitch stream, leave a comment. Love to hear from you and know that you found us.
Because we are up to 147 subscribers. We got 7 subscribers last week.
Yep, it's a big week. So
Huge, huge week for us. I don't
it
know.
is. It is. Yeah, so one thing I do want to say is this gaming community is very inviting. A lot of smaller game communities feel like they have a gatekeeper. I like to feel that the Filsinger Games community is very inviting and very willing to share information with each other. And there's a Facebook group, there's message boards, there's a Discord. So if you are new and you want to get into this game and you have questions, please ask. Somebody, somebody will point you in the right direction. There's a lot of very helpful people within this community. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many people
Hmm.
who even if like if you answer a question about COTG, a Legends guy might pop on and like Barry Walsh and he'll direct you. Hey,
Hmm.
ask this guy. So
Yeah,
even if you're interested about one stream, somebody else from another part of the game will probably direct you on who to talk to or how to find that information.
right. And even though we mentioned there are several lines of this game with the Champions of the Galaxy, Legends of Wrestling, and Indie Wrestling, they all use the exact same rule set.
Yep.
So it all is interchangeable. So
That's why you could have Bishop Hell versus Greg Valentine.
which would be an excellent match. It can main event any arena in the galaxy.
And before we do go, we've been hinting and talking about our upcoming specialty card that Filsinger Game is allowing us to have. Uh, we posted we showed a picture of the art last week,
Hmm.
and so this week we're going to lay some background information on the character. And if you think of the old GI Joe, where it's Serpentor, where he was formed by somebody gathering different DNA from different wrestlers to create a super, well, like
Not wrestlers.
Serpentor, it was leaders,
Hmm.
but think of somebody like Doomsayer going out and collecting different DNA from other wrestlers to create a super wrestler.
Ooh,
How interesting could that be?
that could be amazing.
If you have somebody, took the DNA of Chaos and Matador and Massive and
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Overlord, Infinity Plex. You don't know.
You just don't know.
It can happen.
Hmm.
Next week will be the final week for
The tease.
the teas when we come out and tell you about it. So get ready. It should be fun.
Buckle up, everybody. While you're here, scroll on down to that subscribe button if you want to join the 147 subscribers that find this stuff entertaining. Click that big red subscribe button. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions or things that you might want to say to new players. Leave comments below. Look in the comments for questions from new players that may need answered. Stuff like that. And while you're here, scroll on over to the description where you'll find all of our friends who make Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast roll up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpree, the Solo Promoter fan cast from Grant. Here on YouTube, you'll find Grant's Solo Promoter YouTube channel where he covers all kinds of stuff, not just Champions of the Galaxy and Filsinger Games related, but other tabletop games as well. You'll find Brad Plays 81, Heartland Championship Wrestling, After Further Review, and Bucky 749. It does a ton of content. I'm back on Twitch. I'm trying to stream wrestling streams on Tuesdays and Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. So still going to do one match on Sundays for the time being. Still trying to get in the groove with all that. But if yesterday was any indicator, people who have no clue about wrestling or this game find it entertaining to watch, which sometimes baffles me. So, yeah, it was something that I did not expect, but it was a lot of fun. So Twitch is rocking, having fun over there. I did.
If Brock seems a little punchy today, it's because he was on Twitch during a 24-hour straight marathon.
Skinathon, baby. It was fun. I don't know if I'll do it again, but it was fun. Like there were a handful of people that they stuck with me that entire 24 hours. So you got to shout out to Crimson, Pika Bowser. I don't want to start naming names because I'll forget somebody and I'll feel bad. But man, I'll tell you, there were some people that they were in it to win it. The Nan Beast was the Nan Beast. She was bullying people at the end to buy skins from me. She's like, "Come on, this guy's been on 24 hours. You got to buy something." So yeah, Tedio came in at the end, throwing skin points around. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So hopefully that audience saw something in Champions of the Galaxy that they find interesting, and that we get some new members to this community as well. So
Yep.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, you guys have a good week.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.